Now I know I said this wasn't going to be a step-by-step guide on transforming the furniture, but I just think this is an interesting little thing. See, I don't like using filler because it never looks very nice. It doesn't always take the finish quite the same, you know, as a wood plug. So there's some very small holes to fill, just small screw holes, and nevertheless I still prefer to fill them with some similar wood. You never get the match perfect, colour match perfect, but nevertheless it's still better. So I'm going to just cut a 2mm plug here. Tricky thing is just trying to get the grain to match in the right direction. As I say, never matches perfectly, but it's still better to try and get it done. Just realised I've left the fan on here, so I don't know if you're actually able to hear me above it or not. I like to make them nice and tight, but it does make it difficult to get them in, and it's bound to be more difficult because I'm shooting this one on video, isn't it? Sod's law. I'm just not going to go. Let's just take that down a bit, make the hole a bit bigger. It's got to be a tight fit, otherwise, because you don't want a gap right round it. Okay, that might go there. There we are. Let's just do a rough bend on that. That'll be sanded down better, but you'll see it's just a neater finish than using a bit of filler, which certainly never does match. At least there's a little bit of grain in there. I don't know if this is coming out very well. The camera's not a great one. So anyway, there we are. It's quite satisfying when they're all filled, and you see there's all these ones to do here. So you can imagine if they were all filled, it wouldn't look very nice, even though it is in the back, but there's still a few to do in the front here. This is the front side of one of the doors, and it had quite a few screw holes in it from the handles that were on there previously. It looks like it probably had a change of handles at some point as well, because there was existing screw holes that didn't correspond to the handle I took off. There's obviously the keyhole there as well, but I was having a problem. This oak on here, I say problem, but this oak on here is much lighter than a lot of the matching oak, on the oak on the cabinet, which tends to be fairly consistent. And then when I was cutting out plugs for this in the offcuts of oak I've got, they just weren't matching. That's a on here. This is a good example of it. On these ones, also where steel screws had been used, it leaves this black. There's a oxidation effect that happens with steel screws in oak, and it turns the oak black around the area of it. I say it's oxidation. I don't quite know what the chemical reaction is. But that's why these are very prominent. So I'm going to redo those. Otherwise, they're going to be quite obvious to be seen from the front. This is just a bit of filler I've put in there, so I've got a good base to drill the hole through. That's actually going to cover and take out this this screw hole. Keyhole there. But back to this one. These holes you see here. What I've done is I've actually taken plugs of oak out of there and then put them down. I can't see it too well through here. Yeah, there's one there, and one there. But they'll blend quite nicely. They might be quite obvious at this range, but actually when you go above, which is the way you look at the cabinet, they're almost invisible. But you can see the hole, the size of the hole I'm going to cut, which is going to encompass the keyhole and obviously where I've taken the oak there. So although it looks severely butchered, that won't be a problem because there'll be a hole right through. But that's one way of getting small bits of matching oak to do small repairs. All the holes are drilled now in the legs, the backstop and the door, and you'll see that this door has got its end grain plywood fitted. The drawer holes are done as well, and I'm just actually sealing the inside of the holes because they're going to be painted, and effectively it's painting into end grain. So although it's been sanded, it still needs something just to stop all the paint soaking in and give a nice satin finish. So that's where we're at. It's almost ready for assembling, or will be when these holes are done, and it will have its final sand and then put together. This bit is as much for me as it is for anybody else. I'm almost using it like a sort of a construction manual for the future. But just in case the legs ever need to come off, if they're damaged or something like that, they're actually fixed by 6 screws and 2 location dowels. So up the top there's 2, there's 2, and there's 2. So that's 6 of the screws, and I've plugged them with oak so they look a little bit nicer. These plugs have not been glued in. Normally I would glue plugs in, but just in case they need to come off, these plugs can actually be just pulled out and the screw tops accessed. The 2 dowels in the middle here, and when I mean in the middle, I mean in the middle of the of the 2 screws. I'll know what I mean if I need to access them. They're just location dowels, so they don't need to come out. this is the last bit of video. It's all back together. I've just put the cupboard shelf in there, and we're just looking at the holes for its height adjustment. I'm not going to show you anymore. I'm going to put a few teaser pictures at the end of this, and then Alison and Simon can come and have a look in the flesh, and then I'll put some full pictures on there to complete the video.